Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a journey that is frankly a deeply grueling physical trek, but also an absolutely fascinating intellectual one. We're heading deep into the tropical rainforest gorges of Meghalaya, India, to look specifically at the Meghalaya double-decker living root bridge trekking experience. It's a journey that's really going to push the limits of human endurance, while simultaneously showcasing one of the most brilliant examples of indigenous bioengineering anywhere on the planet. So get ready, because we are exploring a landscape where nature isn't just the environment around you, it is literally the infrastructure. Think about our modern infrastructure for just a second. When you build a bridge out of steel and concrete, the moment you finish it, well, that's the strongest it will ever be, right? From that day forward, rain, wind, and time just cause it to degrade, rust, and eventually fail altogether. But what if I told you there's a kind of bridge that actually gets stronger every single time it rains? It's a completely mind-bending botanical marvel. And ironically enough, it thrives in literally the wettest place on Earth. Let's look at how this is even possible. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the descent, the 3,500-step challenge. To actually witness these marvels in person, you really have to earn it. The journey kicks off at Tirna village, which is roughly 58 kilometers from the capital city of Shillong, where you essentially just step off the edge of a plateau and head straight down into this deep, insanely humid gorge. Ahead of you are 3,500 uneven, steep, and often very slippery concrete steps that you have to descend to reach the valley floor. 3,500 steps. It's a sheer, punishing physical toll, dropping you approximately 300 meters right into the jungle canopy. And let me give you a fair warning right now. As tough as it is on your leg muscles to go all the way down, the return climb back up those exact same 3,500 steps is famously, agonizingly brutal on the knees. Because of these intense conditions, surviving this trek means you absolutely must stick to a few non-negotiable essentials. First off, if you have vertigo or a fear of heights, this is simply not the trail for you. You need closed-toe shoes with excellent grip to handle all that damp, mossy stone. Trekking poles, highly recommended. They will save your joints. And crucially, because of the extreme humidity and the heat, you need to bring at least 2 liters of water and light rain gear. Whatever you do, no heavy coats. You'll be completely drenched in sweat within the first 15 minutes anyway. So you're about 2/3 of the way down, and the concrete steps suddenly give way to a totally different kind of challenge: modern wire suspension bridges. These swaying, super wobbly iron structures cross steep drops right over fast-flowing rivers. Traffic on the move's one way, and they really tend to bounce and sway under the weight of hikers. Interestingly, these modern manufactured metal bridges serve as this stark, kind of anxiety-inducing contrast to the incredibly sturdy natural bridges we're about to encounter. Which brings us to Section 2, the destination, the double-decker masterpiece. Finally, your legs are burning, you are completely drenched in sweat, but the dense forest canopy opens up at Nongriat village, right at the bottom of the gorge. This is the moment of arrival, and let me tell you, every single ounce of that grueling physical effort is instantly rewarded, and this brilliantly illustrates exactly what you get. The magnificent Jinking Nongriat double-decker bridge. You have 2 vertically stacked bridges woven entirely out of living tree roots spanning a crystal-clear mountain stream. And right beneath that lower bridge, the river widens out into this gorgeous natural swimming pool. It is simply breathtaking, just a seamless blend of human ingenuity and the wild jungle. But you know, the aesthetics are really just half the story here. The sheer robust physical metrics of this structure are what will truly blow your mind. The lower bridge alone is estimated to be over 180 years old. Because the roots are alive and continuously growing thicker and thicker every day, the whole thing can hold over 35 people at a single time. Unlike those swaying, bouncy iron bridges we crossed earlier, this living bridge doesn't bounce at all, and it literally only gets stronger as decades and centuries pass. Let's look at the science behind it. Section 3. The blueprint. Engineering with nature. So how exactly did they pull this off? Let's unpack these centuries-old bioengineering techniques perfected by the indigenous Khasi people of Meghalaya. The whole process starts with the foundational building material, Ficus elastica, which is commonly known as the Indian rubber plant. Now, this is a massive tropical tree uniquely adapted to its specific environment. In a region that gets completely battered by extreme monsoon floods, these trees naturally thrive by clinging to huge riverbank boulders. To stabilize themselves, they send out these highly adaptable, fast-growing aerial prop roots that just grip the rocks and prevent landslides. The Khasi people looked at that and recognized its incredible raw potential. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incredible visual transformation from raw nature to highly functional architecture. On one side, you have the wild, chaotic tangle of aerial roots just naturally hanging from a ficus tree. But then contrast that with those exact same roots after they have been patiently trained, woven, and guided by human hands into a beautifully structured, incredibly sturdy bridge deck, complete with railings. It is a true, literal partnership with nature. And here is the step-by-step process of how that partnership actually works. First, the villagers plant ficus elastica trees on opposite sides of a riverbank. Next comes the absolute genius part. They take hollowed-out trunks of Erica palm trees and use them basically as structural tubes to guide the young, tender roots straight across the gorge. As the palm trunks decay, they actually protect the roots and provide them with nutrients. Finally, it requires ultimate, unwavering patience. They have to wait 15 to 20 years for the roots to cross the gap, anchor on the other side, and thicken enough to actually support human weight. I mean, we're talking about a multi-generational commitment to building a single bridge. Now, the biological secret weapon making all of this hold together is a natural phenomenon called inosculation. As the separate strands of roots are tied and twisted tightly together by the villagers, the friction of them rubbing actually causes their outer bark to wear away. The living exposed tissues beneath then merge and fuse together, essentially welding themselves into a single solid mass of wood. This creates a remarkably stable, almost boat-shaped foothold that is entirely self-healing. If a root gets damaged, the tree simply grows a new one to repair the gap. Incredible, right? Section 4. The legacy, preserving a living heritage. These bridges aren't just pieces of infrastructure. They are the beating heart of a completely unique cultural landscape, and ensuring their future requires active preservation. This quote from Morningstar Kongthaw, he's the 29-year-old founder of the Living Bridge Foundation, perfectly captures the philosophy at play here. He points out that, unlike a steel bridge that comes with a built-in expiration date, these living bridges have a potentially infinite, completely sustainable lifespan. As long as the community cares for the health of that host tree, the bridge will outlast all of us. But of course, modern times bring modern challenges. The booming ecotourism economy brings thousands of hikers stomping down those 3,500 steps, which puts an unprecedented amount of weight on the bridges. To balance this out, there are some really robust, active community efforts underway. Locals are actively repairing damaged bridges using only the traditional root weaving methods. Absolutely no concrete allowed. They're establishing strict carrying capacity limits so the villages aren't completely overrun, and they've even created a center of knowledge to make sure the youth are actually learning these ancient bioengineering skills directly from the village elders. And the world is definitely taking notice of this incredible stewardship. The really exciting news here is that India has officially submitted these landscapes, which are known locally as Jin-Kiang Dreen, to UNESCO for World Heritage consideration in the 2026 to 2027 cycle. It is a massive global honoring of the indigenous Khasi reverence for May Ramo, or Mother Earth, essentially acknowledging that their ecological stewardship is a world-class treasure. So the crucial point is this stark comparison. Think back to those rusting, swaying iron suspension bridges you cross on the trek down. Modern concrete and steel degrade. They rust, they require massive, ongoing budgets just for heavy maintenance, and let's face it, they scar the earth. Versus the living root bridges. They grow stronger every single day. They literally heal their own wounds, and they are actually carbon negative, actively pulling CO2 out of the air while providing a totally safe crossing. Keep this incredible contrast in your mind as you mentally prepare to climb back up those punishing 3,500 stairs out of the gorge. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final vital question to chew on. The Khasi people have shown us unequivocally that human needs and ecological health absolutely do not have to be at war with one another. They can literally be woven together. So how can we take this ancient living philosophy of coexistence and actually apply it to the future of our own global infrastructure? It's a massive challenge for sure, but the blueprints are right there, growing silently in the rainforest of Meghalaya. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey.